Hello everyone, and welcome. Welcome to Cosmic Truth, teaching from the stars, wisdom from the earth. The Cosmic Truth Conference is bringing together a diverse and visionary panel of speakers who will share potent teaching from the stars and sacred wisdom from the earth. We are invited to dive into life-changing and liberating cosmic truth, remembering our divine cosmic heritage and opening up to our magical multidimensional reality so that all together we can offer our highest contribution at this truly momentous time on our beautiful mother planet. I am Annelise Sharia, host and creator of this event, and I'm delighted to welcome Jocelyn Starfeather. Hi, Jocelyn.
Hi, Annalisa. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me as part of your powerful event.
Thank you. Such a pleasure also to have you here. Thank you. So let me introduce you to everyone. Jocelyn Starfeather is a visibility and thought leadership coach for visionary entrepreneurs, a spiritual alchemist, astrologer, and founder of Sacred Planet. She shares shamanic and ancient wisdom to guide courageous seekers into co-creating a revolutionary new world in alignment with Mother Earth and the vast intelligence of the cosmos. After a successful 15 years corporate career working in finance for major multinational companies, Jocelyn was thrust into a deep spiritual awakening. It was that awakening which turned her life upside down and from which she emerged with a powerful understanding of how to use her intuition and healing abilities, aspects of herself that she had never had access to before. She dove deeply into earth-based and shamanic practices, and she has studied alongside elders and wisdom keepers ever since. She has extensively studied ancient civilizations, especially cultures where the goddess held a strong presence, and she has spent profound and life-changing time in the ancient temples and pyramids of Egypt. Jocelyn now guides visionary entrepreneurs, revolutionaries, and changemakers all around the world. Her mission is to help people break free from everything that has held them back so they can joyfully offer the highest contribution to our collective future. You can learn more about Jocelyn's work on her website, wearesacredplanet.com. Jocelyn, I'm so happy to have you here. I just love everything you do and that you bring in the world. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you so much. It's truly an honor to be here with you today.
Thank you. So, Jocelyn, your topic for today is ancient Egypt and star wisdom, how to birth a radical new perception of reality. So let's jump in. Jocelyn, could you begin by sharing with us what do you mean by a radical new perception of reality?
Yes, absolutely. I love starting here. And really, this is starting in the future and also starting in the far, far distant past, because the radical new perception of reality that we are being invited to at this time by the earth and by the stars is the far, far distant ancient perception of reality that we are still holding in our hearts now, and that our ancient ancestors always knew. So if we go back 10,000 years, 25,000 years, 50,000 years, we go back to a time when people were living more and more deeply in full intertwinement with all of the energetics of the earth and cosmos around them, right? And if we look at, for example, the cave paintings in Chavot caves, right, or the different caves in France and Spain, we are transported to this other reality that is always right here. It is right here alongside us at every moment, right? We feel it when we look up at the stars on a clear winter night. We feel it when we walk through the forest in midsummer and see the paths of the birds flying and helping to weave that reality together, right? We feel this at different times, at certain moments that probably are like peak moments for us in our modern world existence. But this is the way that we're meant to be living all the time, in deep interconnection with all of the other forms of life, which are all forms of deep, deep intelligence, right? The stars hold their own wisdom and high, high levels of consciousness. The birds, the trees, every animal and plant we see around us, every river and stone and mountain holds a profound intelligence. And this is what we are coming to remember now at this time in our world, that there is a very, very different reality available to us. You know, the modern world reality, it's false. It's an illusion, this idea that we need to, you know, be so dependent on money, and that we, you know, live in these cities where we block out nature. It's almost like we're protecting ourselves from something. We're afraid of nature, right? We block it out. We live in our square houses with our square windows, which is, it's very unnatural because everything in nature is round. This is a reality that we've built for ourselves, but it is not our natural way of being. So what I am always, you know, inviting everyone to open their hearts to and open our minds to is this very ancient way of knowing, of being in constant communication with the world around us, because we are constantly being communicated with, right? We are constantly being sent messages from, again, the trees, the birds, the mountains, the stars, the earth herself. And we can begin to open up and really perceive and fully receive and integrate these messages. And this is when miracles start happening and synchronicities start coming into our lives to guide us. This is how the universe actually works, right? So this is a radical new reality for us, you know, compared to how we've been living, but it's really the true reality, the ancient reality that our ancestors always knew, and that indigenous people today still are holding and reminding us of and calling us back to. And it's a reality and a truth that is rising up in all of our hearts at this time, I feel.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing this. So actually, I would love to hear, why do you believe that ancient Egypt holds the codes and the keys and the guidestones for us now on this path to birthing a new world?
Yes, absolutely. Would it be okay if I share a few images from Egypt? You may need to give me permission in the sharing.
I think it's fine.
Let me try. So there's a little arrow next to the share screen button. If you click that.
Yes. Now you should be able.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yes, now it's working. Okay, so I'm just going to share some images from Egypt because they're so incredibly powerful. You know, we could almost just have a silent meditation with the images themselves, and that would be enough. Here is one aspect of the codes that are held in Egypt that is really embodied in this incredible image from Abydos Temple. And this is in the chapel dedicated to Osiris. Now, on the right here, we have the neter Thoth, or Jehuti, and he is known in later times, in Greek times, as Hermes Trismegistus. Now, this being, or god, you know, in ancient Egypt, they didn't refer to them as gods or goddesses. They referred to them as neters, or forces of nature. So this neter is Thoth, or Jehuti. Now, he is the author of the Emerald Tablet, which is one of the most well-known alchemical texts. He's also said to be the author of the Kybalion and other really profound mystical, alchemical, metaphysical texts that we still fortunately have today. He is the one who brought to ancient Egypt mathematics, science, medicine, astronomy, astrology, a knowledge of sacred geometry and how the heavens above correspond to the sacred architecture of the earth below. And he's holding in his hand here a very interesting form of the caduceus. Now, the caduceus is the staff with wings or serpents at the top that today in our modern world we see related to the modern medical establishment, interestingly. In the ancient times, it held so much more meaning. It was a representative of the opposite polarities and the bringing together of polarities. That's why there are two staffs and two serpents here. So bringing together shadow and light, bringing together masculine and feminine, bringing together spirit and matter. And so this is a powerful alchemical caduceus that he's holding. And what this is showing here is on the left is King Seti I, who built the Temple of Abydos, in the form of the netter Osiris, who is the god of the underworld. So the king is taking the form of Osiris because he's undergoing a resurrection ritual. And so this was a profound knowledge that the ancient Egyptians had of life and death and the meeting point between the two, right? Something that we would almost never dare to purposely traverse in our world today. This was a ritual that the king would undergo and the high priests and priestesses would undergo, where they would allow themselves to die, to go to the other side of the veil, and they knew how to come back. They knew how to make that journey back. And this is Thoth offering the symbol of life, which is the Ankh, to Seti I, inviting him to come back into the living world. So just taking that in, you can see that in ancient Egypt, they held these codes, they held this knowledge of our connection to the other dimensions, the ability to travel to the other side of the veil and come back. And an interesting thing about Thoth here is that he is said to have come from the far more ancient civilization of Atlantis, and that he brought the knowledge of all these things that I mentioned, science, mathematics, astronomy, astrology, alchemy. He brought all of that knowledge from the very, very highly advanced civilization of Atlantis, which fell around 12,500 BC when we had the Great Flood that we read of in the Bible and in other ancient texts. So very interesting that, it's likely that much of the knowledge that they held in ancient Egypt was so profound because it was directly brought forward from these even higher ancient civilizations like Atlantis and possibly Lemuria. So that's what I'll say about that. There's so much more to say about all of these images, right? But this is just to give you an idea. Now, here's a beautiful image on the right of Osiris. He is shown with green skin because not only is he the netter or the king of the underworld, but he is also representative of the life force within our bodies and the life force within all living things. And so we can imagine him in the underworld pushing up the grasses and the trees and all of the plants that give us life. So for that reason, he was also the god of agriculture. Interesting connection, right? King of the underworld and the god of agriculture, but you can see how they are very, very connected. So it's these deep intertwinements of different realities that the ancient Egyptians had such a wonderful understanding of. And on the left is an image of the pyramid texts, which are located at Saqqara, which is near Cairo. And these texts are commonly accepted, even among Egyptologists, okay, as magical spells. These are magical spells that were guiding initiates, such as the priests and priestesses or the king, who would undergo that resurrection ritual to go out and travel to the immortal stars, which are the stars in the northern sky, and as such, go to the other side of the veil, and then how to journey back and how to come back into the body and into life once again. So these are the instructions. They're written on the walls in Egypt, the instructions for how to leave the body and come back in. It's just beyond what we can even comprehend today. And so I'll share just a little bit more here. I don't want this part to be too long, but there's just such depth and profound information to be held here. So this is the goddess Ma'at, which may be familiar to many people watching. She has the ostrich feather always on her head, in her headband. Now she represents natural law and cosmic order. And this includes the ideas of integrity, truth, honor. And one thing that's really interesting in combination with those very serious topics is that she teaches us that that lightness of heart is the key to moving into the eternal realms after death. And every child in ancient Egypt was raised to know that his or her purpose ultimately was to uphold natural order and cosmic law, or to serve Ma'at. Because when every person is aligned with cosmic truth, with integrity, with honor, this maintains the harmonic balance of the universe. And so this was taught from a very young age. Again, these are understandings that are just, foreign to our current way of living, right? And this is something that we're remembering now, that we can reach back to and bring this back into our lives. I find this really touching, the image on the bottom right here. This is again from Abydos. And on the right, we have the Pharaoh Seti I, King Seti I, and he is pledging to Osiris, as well as Isis, who's standing behind Osiris there, the oath of Ma'at. So he is saying, I hold in my hand this statue of Ma'at. And I thank you for handing this kingdom, this powerful kingdom of Egypt, to me in perfect cosmic order and natural law. And I take it as my responsibility to maintain Egypt in natural order and cosmic law, and to hand it back to you at the end of my life, or the end of my reign, just as balanced and harmonized as the way that you have handed it to me now. Isn't it just so beautiful? So beautiful. And this is how, this was basically the government. This was the oath taken, by the rulers and the ones in charge at the time that they came into power. Really, really incredible. So these principles are just beyond our full comprehension. But these are the codes, these are the keys, these are the ways that we can remember by reaching back to what people knew in these far, far ancient times. We can remember, we can reawaken the truth in our hearts. One more thing that I'll say on this topic that's really important. This is not actually an image of the stretching of the cords right here, but this is an image from within the courtyard of Edfu Temple. And within the inner temple here is a powerful image of the stretching of the cords ceremony. Now, the stretching of the cords was something that every pharaoh, every king did before even beginning to lay the foundation or draw any blueprints or any plans for a new temple that was going to be built. Because what needed to happen before any plans could be made is that the goddess Seshet needed to be called in. Now, Seshet is the counterpart of Thoth. She is the one who holds the Akashic records, and she is also the ultimate astrologer and astronomer. And she would come in and instruct the pharaoh on which stars and constellations this temple needed to be aligned with in order to accomplish the role and the responsibility of all that would be the rituals and ceremonies that would take place within the temple over the next 2,000 years or so. And generally, the temples were built to be aligned with certain stars. And as the stars move with the precession of the equinoxes, so about every 2,000 years or so, the temples would need to be torn down and rebuilt. Okay, this is how important it was to have it exactly aligned with those particular stars. And so Seshet would guide the pharaoh in stretching the cords, which was drawing out these measurements and making the lines in the earth that would ensure that the alignment with the stars was exactly accurate and appropriate to the needs of this temple, and only then could the temple construction begin. So I will stop sharing my screen there, but that gives you some idea of the depth of the codes and keys that Egypt provides for us to remember.
Beautiful, thank you. Actually, you've been mentioning the stars. Of course, Egypt was very well connected to the star culture. And actually, what do the stars have to do with all of this, and how can we access their wisdom now?
Yes. So I had a dream one time. This was many years ago, actually, even before I started my business. And there was, it was a very bright, starry night. And there were many of us looking up at the stars, and some of the people looking up in the group were clearly indigenous people. I think it was Native American indigenous people. And so we were looking up at the stars, and these stars began to light up blue, and some of them in red and yellow, and they took on these amazing colors. And then they began to move. There was, for example, an arrow. Some stars formed an arrow, and then the arrow shot across the sky in this beautiful way. And we were receiving instructions from the indigenous people on how to see the stars with all these colors and with the movement. And when I woke up, the words that I had in my awareness were, we saw the stars the way they used to be seen. So there's something here, right, about reaching deep, deep into our memory, deep into our hearts, beyond the mind, right, into our higher consciousness, beginning to see the world, including the stars in the sky, the way that we used to see them 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 years ago, right? Peeling back the layers of conditioning that have been given to us, and certain belief systems and all about how things really look, how things are supposed to look. And knowing that we have the ability to see things in a very different way, like seeing those stars with all their colors. It was just incredible. It's one of those dreams I'll never forget. And so I really believe that the ancient people, including in ancient Egypt, saw the world in brighter colors, right? And much more movement, and probably saw the energetic fields around plants and animals, and probably saw these bright colors in the different stars. And this is not to be discouraging. This is not to say, oh, we've lost that, right? Because what's happening now is we're at this turning point, and the stars are reminding us, and the earth is reminding us about our true nature and what's really here. We're at this turning point of coming back into these deeper levels of consciousness, higher levels of awareness. And that's why everything is being so shaken up in our world right now, right? It's because the old structures are crumbling. The old ways of thinking and being and knowing and doing government and doing education they're falling, they're crumbling. And we are here, those of us who are alive at this time are here to build the new reality, like a radical new future. But we can receive the guidance from the past in knowing how to do that. So I truly, deeply believe the stars are here to guide us in that. There was a reason that in ancient Egypt, they valued the stars so deeply. And there were many different aspects of the sky that they paid attention to for different reasons. For example, as I mentioned, the northern stars were considered the immortal stars, particularly what we now today call the Big Dipper or Ursa Majora. This constellation, if you look up on any clear night, any day of the year, you will see that constellation somewhere in the northern sky. It moves around a bit, but it never disappears. Now, most stars disappear for a while every year. Most stars go, across the sky, and then they get close to the sun. And for a while, usually 40 to 70 days, we can't see that star, and then it comes back, right? The Big Dipper, that never happened. So the ancient Egyptians saw this constellation. They saw it never died. It never died. It never went into the underworld like most other stars. So they called these the immortal stars. And that's why when we did the resurrection ceremonies, we would fly out to the immortal stars to be with the gods, to be with the ones who never die, and learn their secrets and learn their wisdom and bring it back. That's just one part of the sky. There were so many, as you may know, the constellation Orion, which is very close to the Pleiades, represented the neter Osiris, who we saw in saw in the one slide there. And Osiris being the king of the underworld. Interestingly, the underworld was in the sky, right? That was his location. And that's a different part of the sky than the immortal stars. Orion and Sirius, which is a very bright star that follows the constellation Orion through the sky. Sirius represents Isis, his wife and the queen. And so they do go into the underworld for a certain part of the year. Now, this also is really important because that star Sirius, which represents the mother goddess Isis, and she's the queen of all the lands, and the wife of Osiris, she goes into the underworld for 70 days from about May until mid to late July. Now, when Sirius would be in the underworld every year, that would be the time in Egypt when the drought came. And you can imagine 70 days of drought. This was a long time, right? So the crops would begin to die. The water in the River Nile would get really low, or sometimes even dry up. And it was a time of great worry for the people. And what would happen every year, very magically, is when the star Sirius would reappear in the dawn sky, rising just before the sun, which is called the heliacal rising of a star. When it makes its reappearance after the time of being in the underworld, this is the time when the floods would return to the land. The floods in southern Africa, the ice would melt or the snow would melt, and because the water flows from south to north there, the water would come flowing back through the Nile. So they saw very clearly every year that great goddess Isis, when she reappeared in the sky, life returned to the land. Right? So these are the kinds of things that we want to reconnect with. There is no mistake that that star was rising when life returned to the land. We may think today, oh, scientifically, it's just a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. We are all woven together in this vast cosmic architecture. We are all connected. This is why astrology works. This is why the Akashic records, hold such profound wisdom for us, and many other modalities and mystical traditions work, because we are interwoven, we are interconnected. One thing that's really interesting to think about is from the origination point of the universe. So if the scientific theory is correct that there was a big bang, right, then we were all together in this very, very dense mass at the beginning. We were all one. And then it exploded and it spread out across the entire cosmos, the entire universe or multiverses. But we still hold the connections. We still hold the energetic links to all of the other particles, all of the other pieces, right? We are still that connected. It's just that the web has gotten stretched out quite a bit, since that original time. And again, this is why astrology works. We are linked through incredibly powerful energetic cords to the planets, to the stars. We're all in this together. So we can turn to the stars to guide us. And I really invite everybody to turn to the ancient stories of the stars and the planets and the sun and moon, and see what deep wisdom might turn up for you there, what revelations might occur. And I have a free gift I'm offering that can help in that kind of exploration. So there's so much to be discovered, and it's so fun and miraculous when we dive into these realms.
So beautiful. Thank you for sharing all this, Jocelyn. Jocelyn, you've been referring to this connection between past and future and now, and I think you would like to take us on a shamanic journey in which listeners could travel to the distant past and discover who they have been before, to reclaim their power now for their future. So is it possible to do this?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So I welcome everybody to get really comfortable in your space. So if you would like to lay down, that's wonderful. If you would like to sit with your spine straight, or even if you would like to be standing up and let this be a movement journey, sometimes that can be really powerful. So connect in with your body, see what your body wants for this journey, this beautiful meditation that we will do today. And I invite you to close your eyes in your comfortable space and take a deep, deep breath into your heart, really knowing that you are filling your heart and your lungs with the magic of oxygen and sunlight and all of the elements that surround us in our beautiful world. And then breathe out, releasing, relaxing, just letting every cell of your body become relaxed and fully dropping into the present moment. And then I invite you to imagine yourself in a beautiful place in nature, a place that feels safe and warm and comfortable for you, and a place where you can be standing barefoot on the earth. And maybe your feet are on the grass, maybe they're in the sand by the ocean, wherever you are, just feel your bare feet connecting in with the Great Mother, our earth. and know that you are her precious child and she loves you unconditionally. And just allow Mother Earth to send her healing energies and her unconditional love up to you through the soles of your feet, and then traveling, circulating all around your body, rejuvenating, nourishing every cell in your entire body, and even moving out into your energetic field that surrounds your body, nourishing and rejuvenating there as well. And send love and gratitude to Mother Earth. And then raise your hands up to the sky so that your palms are facing up to the great cosmos. And allow the cosmos to send the brightest white healing light to you through the palms of your hands. And allow this beautiful healing light to enter into your body and circulate around, again, rejuvenating and nourishing every cell and filling you with the vast intelligence of the cosmos. And as you stand here receiving this unconditional love from Mother Earth and divine intelligence from the cosmos, really feel yourself as part of the sacred architecture that connects all things. And then you can lower your hands when you're ready, giving thanks to the cosmos above. And notice that a guide is showing up now for you. A guide is here to support you for the journey ahead. Now, this may be an animal, this may be an angel, an ancestor, could even be a plant. Just notice who shows up and really trust whoever this is. They are here to guide and protect you today. And you can thank your guide, give them a hug or a kiss if you would like. Now, your guide is going to invite you to fly with them, to go from this beautiful place in nature as your setting off point, and allow your guide to fly you up into the cosmos. So just enjoy the ride here. Allow them to fly you far, far up above the earth. And notice, what planets do you see? What stars do you see? Perhaps you come from one of these stars originally. And now, having made the journey far up into the cosmos, you have transcended time and space. And you're going to come back down to the earth, but this is going to be a much more ancient version of the earth, perhaps 10, 20,000, 30,000 years ago. So allow your guide to fly you back down to the earth. And you're going to fly around above the surface of the earth with your guide and just notice what place on the planet is calling to you. Really tune in with your heart and notice. And then whatever location on the planet is calling to you, allow your guide to fly you there. And go ahead and land on the ground on whatever continent it might be, whatever part of that continent is calling to you. Now, wherever you land, notice what is happening here. What kind of civilization is here? Knowing that there were far higher civilizations at these past times than what we've been told and what is written in the history books. So go ahead and walk around in this land. Notice who's living here and allow yourself to remember that you also belong here in this place at this time, because you have naturally, intuitively been guided to a place where you had a very powerful past life, where you held deep wisdom. Perhaps you were a shaman here, or a priest or priestess, or a magician. Perhaps you were an astronomer or an astrologer. Very important roles in the ancient times. So I'm going to be silent for just a few minutes here to allow you to re-enter that past life, reconnect with the people that you knew who you were close with at that time, people in your family, maybe people who you did work with, and just allow yourself to walk around in this past life and remember your wisdom, remember your power, and allow that wisdom and power to come into you now. And you can bring it back with you. So go ahead, just enjoy this journey, enjoy exploring your past life here. Remember to really pay attention and integrate into yourself the wisdom, the power, and the magic that you held at this past time. This is a remembrance. And now, wherever you are in this past time and place, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask someone there who you know will have the answers. Go ahead and ask your questions now and just listen carefully to hear these answers from the distant past. And the people in this place are now gathering around you and offering you a gift to bring back with you into your current day life. So they're holding out this gift to you now. Go ahead and receive it from them and notice, what is the gift? What meaning does it hold for you? What message or remembrance does it bring? Receive this gift with gratitude, and you can place it in your heart if you like, to be sure that you will always keep it with you. Thank the people there for all they have shared with you today, and know that you can journey back here. You can come back and learn more anytime you wish. And now allow your guide to take you and fly you back out into the cosmos, flying right by incredibly powerful stars and planets and galaxies. Again, you are transcending time and space. And then allow your guide to fly you back down to current day Earth, returning back into your today life. And thank your guide for guiding you and protecting you on this powerful journey as you settle back into current time here, listening to this interview. Take a deep, deep breath into your heart, breathing in, once again, filling up with oxygen and sunlight, and the magic of all the elements that surround you. And then breathe out, releasing, relaxing, coming back, fully present to the here and now. And know that all of this wisdom, this power, these memories that you have experienced, these are a part of you. And now they're in your conscious awareness, so you can bring them forward into your life in new ways that you never imagined before. So when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to all the beings and to you, Jocelyn. Thank you.
Thank you all for having the courage to go on a deep, deep journey.
Well, thank you so much, Jocelyn, for everything you have shared today. Such a profound and heart-opening conversation. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity, and it's been my pleasure.
To conclude, I will just speak about the free gift that you're offering to the audience. You're offering inspiring presentation. It's called The Sacred Architecture of the Cosmos and Instructions for How to Build the New World. So could you say a few words about it, please?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to. So this is a really powerful presentation where we explore the sacred architecture of the cosmos, as it's saying. So we look at some of the dimensions of that, like what is time, and what were some of the ancient people's perceptions of time. And we look at how our bodies are connected in with this larger energetic structure, this larger architecture of the cosmos, and several other aspects as well. So it's really powerful. It's really fun. I know you all will love it. And so definitely go ahead and check that out if it resonates for you. And of course, it's completely free for everyone attending here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much, Jocelyn, for all that you have shared. Thank you for being part of this event. To everybody watching, thank you for being here with us today. I hope you received so much from this beautiful, amazing conversation with Jocelyn Starfeather. Stay tuned. Be sure to tune in. We have many more wonderful interviews coming your way. Namaste. Thank you again. Goodbye, Jocelyn.
Thank you so much. Bye for now.